published or not.
Yeah,
The 10th,
I think it's very published. And today we're joined by Jordan. How you going today, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Pretty tired from training, but all is good, just pegging away.
Yeah, training hard?
Oh yeah, very hard at the moment, getting ready for a few big shows, but it's all good.
Very good. So we're here at Holland Strength and Performance, or Holland Performance Centre?
Holland's Performance.
Holland Performance.
Holland's Performance.
Yeah.
Get it right, come on.
Which is I guess like a multi-purpose training facility?
It is, so it's owned by Bianca and David Holland.
Yeah.
It's multi-purposes. They've got Max Dalsanto as the weightlifting coach here.
Yeah.
They've got a strongman centre back here. They've also got the powerlifting guys here as well.
Yeah.
But it is just multi-purpose. We get Olympians come in here. We get, obviously Max is a Commonwealth Games athlete comes in here. We've got all the top strongmen here. So we get a very broad mix. We get the cyclists come in. We do get all of the CrossFitters come in too to get some massage work done and play around with the equipment as well. So it is very multi-purpose. Plus, we had a pro wrestler in last night, Big Jonah Rock. Yeah, Big Jonah Rock came in, a mate of mine, benched 200 kilos, which is just
that's crazy.
mind-boggling. Yeah. So that's a new gym record. So now I've got something to gun for.
Something to aim for, that's it.
But we get them all in here, and they love it too. It's a bit of a different kind of setup, and it's massive, as you can see.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I love it. It's like an adult fitness playground. Like,
exactly.
I keep looking at things, I'm like, I want to play with that, I want to play with that.
Exactly.
So let's talk about you, Jordan. How long have you been into strongman training and all that jazz?
Funnily enough, I just got asked the other day how I started all off, but I came into training through wrestling as a kid when I was sort of about 13. But I started my weight training when I was about 16.
Yeah.
At the Institute of Sport, Olympic lifting for years, and then came into strongman when I was about 17, 18. And then from there I've sort of kept the weightlifting in my training, but more focused on strongman, except recently.
Yeah. Were you scouted like for the Institute of Sport?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, that's how I got into weightlifting, and that's how I got into wrestling too, because I was scouted through the school I was at. And they pretty much said, look, you're lifting more than basically anyone else that we've had, do you want to take it up?
Yeah.
Definitely. So I took on that and then really enjoyed it, and then the rest is history, really. So
what have you been some of your, just to give people context, what are some of your achievements within like the sport of strongman?
I hate doing this. I guess my personally the biggest thing that I've sort of done in my career,
personal,
it has been, I made World's Strongest Man qualifiers twice, and I made them at like 21 years old, so I'm the youngest Australian to make a pro show.
Yeah.
I've got a few Australian records. The heaviest weight ever lifted by a person who moved was 610 kilos.
Yeah.
And I've won the Australian stone lifting titles 3 times in a row, which was never done before either. So just personal things like that are just, I guess I don't really like talking up stuff like that, but just stuff like that is sort of, it does play into my heart, and I've enjoyed those type of things, lifting real heavy and that type of stuff. So I guess those 3, and like I said, I've been lucky enough to compete all around the world as well, so I've been very lucky, definitely.
Yeah. So is strength something that just runs in your family, or?
As the dog comes over? Look, strength is probably more mental in my family than physical.
Okay, yeah.
My brother is very strong mentally, but he's probably actually physically taller and bigger than I am.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't train. Yeah. So he's sort of big physically as well. But I put it back to my mum and my grandparents probably that are very strong mentally.
Yeah.
And then I guess I could give him the physical side maybe. But
did you at a young age, were you lifting things, or were you really
interested? Yeah, so a funny story was when I was a kid, and I probably said this in the last podcast we did, is that when I was a kid, my mum caught me trying to pull the tyres off my car when I was a little kid.
Oh wow.
With my teeth and with my hands, and Mum still believes that I said I will be the strongest man in the world one day when I was a little kid. So obviously it's been ingrained in me for a little while that that's what's going to be the case.
Yeah.
So it's I guess from a young age I was always a big kid.
Yeah.
But I guess it just came through, and I was lucky.
Well, how big are you now? What's your weight?
Right now I'm about 6'2" and about 140 kilos, so just a smidgen over 300 pounds, so about 310 pounds, so 140 kilos.
And in the strongman world, is 6'2", is that tall, average? What's that?
6'2" to 6'3" is average, but these days strongman is the land of the giants. So guys like Thor Bjornsson and Brian Shaw and all those guys, they're all 6'9", and they're 180 kilos. So I'm at the lower end of the spectrum in height and weight, but most of the guys are around my height or just slightly taller. So I'm just average.
Is there an advantage, just compared to someone who's 6'9" and 40 kilos heavier? Is that an advantage you have height and size?
Funnily enough, it used to say back in the day before it sort of turned into the way it was now, is that it doesn't, some events suit some people, some events suit other people. But guys like Brian Shaw and Thor have broken that mould, because usually the guys that are tall, great at stones, great at farmers, big hands, can hold on, but they're not good at static events like deadlift and log because they've got so much further to push the bar. But then guys like Brian and Thor come along and they can pull 450 and they can pull 480 in a deadlift and they can 200 kilo log and stuff like that, and you sort of go, what can't these guys do? And they load 200 kilo stones like that, like nothing. So these days, because again, the training is just changed so much because it's more professional and everything like that. The guys really work on their weaknesses. So the tall guys go, well, my deadlift is going to be a hard thing for me to grow, I guess. I'm going to work my ass off, get it perfect for me. This is what happens, So yeah, I believe these days, maybe not 10 years ago, but I believe these days to be world's strongest man, you need to be a giant. You need to be a giant to win because you just have to be that big and you can manhandle it.
Yeah.
That's the way I believe it.
Well, I remember 2 years ago, right, we've done the podcast, right, and we've been probably the first times I met you face to face, and you seemed like a giant to me, right? I'm very tall. And then I think maybe like a month later, I went to the Iron Expo and I got to meet
Robert Overs, yeah.
And Brian Shaw, and I was like, these people could eat me.
Absolutely.
They're so big. Like, it's just like a next level, like.
It does your head in because you see them on TV and they're big.
Yeah.
But when you see them in real life, they're bigger again. Because when I did my first pro show in 2012, I was up against guys like Ed Hall, who just bought 500 kilos, and a guy named Mike Jenkins, who unfortunately passed away, rest in peace. Both those guys were monsters. Mike was something like 6'6" and 180 kilos. Now he wore a basketball jersey that was like especially made for him.
Oh wow.
We went to have dinner at a quiet hotel in Melbourne. He went to walk in the door and he stopped front on, turned sideways to walk in the door because he's so broad and these huge big cat delts.
Yeah.
And it was just, and there's me just going, hey, I can walk through straight. I'm not going to walk the two of me on either side and walk straight through, but they are absolutely superhuman. And that's what it takes to win World's Strongest Man. You need to be superhuman.
Yeah, essentially.
Absolutely.
There's a shorter competitor though that's like 5'7", 5'8". He's like Russian, but from one of those countries.
You're talking about Lalas.
Possibly.
He looks like he's the same height as he is tall.
Yeah.
So there's Vitalis Lalas, who's probably a smidgen under 6 foot.
Okay, yeah.
So I was about to say he ain't that short, but he just looks short with those guys. But
Come on, Jordan, I need some motivation.
Mate, anyone can do strongman, don't worry. But Lalas, he is below 6 foot, but he is about 6 foot across as well. He looks like SpongeBob SquarePants. He's just like a pair of legs, man. But, and to be honest, Warwick Brunt, who was Australia's strongest man last year, year before, he's under 6 foot, and he's probably actually well under 6 foot. But he beat us all. He beat Colin Wolfe, who's now the top pro in Australia. He beat Luke Reynolds, who's one of the top pros in Australia. Myself, another top pro named Mark Wells. He smashed us all. He's sort of like a 200 kilo log press, or a new 200 kilo log press, and a new 200 kilo an axle, and all that type of stuff. So again, just because Brian and Thor broke the mold of being a tall guy deadlifting mold doesn't mean that the short guy can't break the mold again. And push the sport to something completely new when that takes over, because that's always what happens. The sport changes and changes. Back in the 80s and 90s, you had to be stronger, you had to be really fit. When Marius was around, you had to be just everything, because Marius was
how good, because I only started following him from the MMA, like when he started going into MMA and stuff. How good was he compared to the guys that are now? Like, has the sport just changed?
This is always one of those questions you have to be so careful to answer. Okay, in the way I see it, Marius was awesome for his time. Today, it's just a different game
Yeah.
from when he was around. Not saying he could come back now and I think he'd still be one of the top guys. There's just no doubt about it, because he's just got that want to win so bad that he'll do anything to win. You know,
Yeah.
He just wants it so bad that physical shape has nothing to do with it almost. But when he was competing, the sport was different compared to what it is now. It's just a big man's game now. But compared to the guys now, I still think the best in the world for the last, 10 years is Andreas.
Yeah.
He is the best of all time. He is the greatest. He's broken every world record you can think of. Even though he hasn't won World's Strongest Man as many times as Marius has, he's got one more to equal him. In an all-round way, he is the greatest strongman of all time.
Yeah.
But